All right. It's Tuesday. Some people think it's Taco Tuesday. For me, it's Amigo Tuesday. The best day of the week. We got 4 amigos. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, they're everywhere. And what were we saying, Johnny? I think I'm in charge, but I'm really not.
You're really not, man. We just know that you're a good coordinator with the Zoom calls. It's a good way for us to connect. No, I'm kidding.
You know. No, but it is neat to see everybody together. Maybe we go all the way back to Glenbrook, Damon and DaSean. So DaSean, you're what, like 2 years older than Damon?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what are your memories? What are your memories of Damon?
Even before Glenbrook, I remember when he came to the Concord Cobras. I don't know what division I was. I might have been a peewee or junior midget. He just came on. He had these little braids that came out. Everybody back then. So I knew Damon from back then, and then Glenbrook, when I was, I think, 2 grades apart. Yeah, when I was a senior, 8th grade, he was a 6th grader.
Yeah.
So then we messed around with those guys then. I mean, we're upperclassmen in middle school. We used to mess around with those guys, work cool with them. I remember it was Damon. And actually, DeMonte hung out together back then in 6th grade. So, yeah, I've known Damon for a minute.
And then you mentioned last week when DaSean was working, you've always looked up to DaSean, Damon?
Yeah, like you said, when I was in 6th grade, he's in the 8th grade. So DaSean was always the light of the party, even in the even when he was in 8th grade. So, but he just always held himself with the highest thing even in middle school. I've always looked up to him in the way he handled business. So.
All right, and then bring this all together. Johnny and DaSean are the oldest. Nate's in the middle. And then, but did you play as a sophomore, Damon? So did you play with DaSean and Johnny?
Oh, Damon started as a sophomore.
What's that, DaSean?
He started on the corner.
Damon didn't play as a sophomore. He started as a sophomore. True sophomore, cornerback. I mean, it might happen more often now, but back then it's kind of unheard of. I mean, DJ did it. Derek Landry did it. Matt did it. I mean, Damon did it. Nate played as a sophomore and Maurice played as a sophomore, but these guys actually started as sophomores.
Yeah, Damon started from my game.
Position.
Damon actually saved me from having to play corner. Because Jason was telling me I was allowed to play corner if Damon wasn't ready. But then Damon was ready. Damon obviously was ready, so then I got to go back and play Spartan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I knew you were a big part of this, Damon. I didn't realize how big of a part. And then maybe Johnny, how do we bring this all together? All this here today. When's the last time this has happened? Probably a long time.
I'm sorry. What last time what's happened?
It's always DaSean, Nate, and you. Now we've added Damon.
Oh man, it's
be a record for Amigos together.
It's probably been since high school. I got kind of days reminiscing, thinking about, you know, how many young players have had to contribute as sophomores and what positions they've had to play. I mean, De La Salle's definitely had some special athletes who've had to, you know, play some special positions. McIntyre started the quarterback as a sophomore. You know, Damon's on the corner as a sophomore. Like, I don't know what is harder or easier. I mean, definitely playing quarterback as a sophomore is probably got to be very difficult. But, you know, there's really nowhere to hide anybody on the field. Like, you'll get exposed. So, like, as a sophomore, like, that's an accomplishment to get on the field at any capacity. The fact that this guy was, you know, starting for us and a major contributor and someone that we, you know, that was a part of the strength of our defense is a special thing, you know. And mentally, man, like, all of that, like the grind and dealing with the coaching staff and dealing with the other older classmates and then going back into probably his experience, going back to class with the rest of the sophomores and people probably hating on him for being on varsity and having success. So there's a whole nother element that I've never had to experience that even makes it that much harder for a young guy to excel in that program.
Absolutely. And then you have DJ Williams calling you Mooney. I went back and I looked. I forgot about that McDonald's guy. That does everybody remember that? That Mac the Night guy he had the glasses and he would sing. I mean, and DJ came back from Miami. Did he know you when he gave you that name?
Well, he came back for summer.
Right.
So my freshman year was DJ senior year.
I know. So
but the interaction between me and him was rare because, you know, we were freshmen. But
But
He came back that
to
summer.
be real with it, if you was one of 18, black dudes in the school and you played sports, there was a good opportunity that he knew you and you've had conversations
Yeah.
I got you. So you didn't like it, but the fact he gave you a name, that must have been quite an honor.
Yeah, no, it was. My sophomore year, man, you talking about I was a small fish in a big pond. I mean, the three guys on this phone call right now, man, like you got to understand, like their roles within the program. You know what I mean? I grew up in a situation where excuses, I used to live off excuses until I started playing varsity football. So, and for me, like just, being the privilege of being called, given a nickname, I didn't like it, but I accepted it and I ran with it. So it was nothing I could do about that. I mean, even till this day, I can't get away from it. So
no. And then Johnny, down the road, we lost Johnny. We lost. There he is, Golden Gate Bridge. But Johnny's the legend. Every week, you're in a different spot, man. In the same house.
Hey, when you got as many kids as I do and that they're the ages I have, you have to move around. You have to be a ninja about this.
You are the ultimate. You are the ultimate ninja because they've never found you. I mean, that's why you're so good. I lost my train of thought. Maybe we could go to Nate. Current stuff. You're going to be practicing. What's going on at De La Salle with social distancing?
So yesterday was the first day we got a chance to get back together. We're in groups of 12, including coaches. So I had 11 players. It's like going through TSA over there, man. So we got to meet in between the old weight room and locker room on your way to the pool. Everybody got to be 6 feet apart. You got to go answer 4 questions. They scan your forehead with the little temperature thing. If you're good, you get to go through. If you're bad, then you got to go home. We got a chance to go through yesterday in our group. I got mostly DBs in my group. I may have like 1 or 2 other positions, but mostly defensive backs in my group. So we got a chance to have our small groups together at different times, kind of staggered times and whatnot, and go through a workout. So actually today, we have another one. I'm headed up to De La Salle right now. At 3:10 is my group's time for check-in, which we have to go through check-in. And 3:20 we start. 4:20 we're off the field. And the goal is to keep this thing good for a couple of weeks, and then hopefully be able to grow the groups into a little more size and get this thing back to normal, hopefully sooner than later. But I think all the coaches and for sure most of the kids, maybe not all the kids, but all the coaches were happy to be back doing football. I love coaching. There's never a day I wake up and I'm like, damn, I gotta go coach today. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always ready to coach, always excited to work with the kids. So I think that's what they talk about when they say finding something you love to do, So like I said, I love coaching for sure.
Absolutely. Maybe speaking of big groups, DaSean, what's been going on at night in Oakland? I mean, you've been on the front lines. What can you tell us?
The first week it was pretty hectic. I mean, I don't have to deal with what's called mobile field force, where they're dealing with the protests on the front line. I still have to supervise North Oakland. But I mean, my area is usually pretty quiet at night because it's just businesses up there. There's no residential neighborhoods. But everything that started jumping off is just, burglaries and looting. So that's pretty much the main thing we had to deal with in my area. So, it's been wild. The first week we had our days off canceled, and then we have to work extended shifts. So normally I'll work 10-hour shifts from 10 to 8 in the morning, and then now we have to come in at 7 to 8. So it's pretty much going to work, coming home, going to sleep, waking up, heading back to work. So it's a bit of a grind. It's calmed down a little bit, but at any point it could jump off again depending on what's going on.
Right. No, but we want to make it clear this isn't like Charlie's Angels where we replace people. Did you think your position was at all jeopardy? Here?
Damon could easily slide in and take my spot, so I had to be ready. Damon's known for taking a position or two, so I got to be A-game this guy.
No, but maybe that's where we take it next. We have us here, we talked about Jake Wallace, who you guys know as Jake Wall Street. And to me, that's very powerful because was he a business-minded guy when he was at De La Salle?
Man, I started calling him Jake Wall Street. So sometimes we would carpool on the way to school, or in the morning on the way to school. He would get dropped off in El Bronte, or he would take the BART to Renda, and we would pick him up from the San Pablo Dam Road, or he would spend the night or whatever. But I remember one morning he spent the night at my house, and this dude, I'm like 17 years old. This dude had a coffee mug, was like watching like the Dow Jones or something. I was like, dang, Jake Wall Street or something like that. And then ever since then, just kind of like started calling him Wall Street, and then it just kind of stuck. And then I think he had a little rap career, which he was rapping a little bit and recording and kind of going to doing performances. And I think that was his rap name, Jay Wall Street.
But also he became a businessman, and so the name fit. The other one, I was talking with Brian Callahan. You named him Jack, Johnny?
Yep.
How did that happen?
Passively.
Sean, go ahead. Who wants to take it?
No, go ahead, Johnny.
Well, one time we were passing league. I think he had gotten the game. I was on the sideline, and we're watching the game, and he was playing, and I remember they had a long 3rd and 8. I think he threw an out route to Flea, just off of Flea's fingertips. They didn't get it, and I'm just watching, and then all of a sudden, like a couple minutes later, it's like a voice like right here. It's like 3rd and 8. Those are the hardest ones to get, and I just like thought it was like Jack Nicholson in my ear, like narrating some movie. I was like, damn, Jack Nicholson. And then ever since then, I called him Jack, and everybody called him Jack.
Exactly. And he says, sometimes when he sees Maurice calls him Jack, and it confuses everybody. Nobody knows what's going on. And that's tremendous. And also the goodwill, like, for example, he's not like super busy, but he's the offensive coordinator with the Bengals. He was on vacation with his family in upstate New York, at something like Lake George, and he wanted to talk to me because of you guys, because he saw the Amigos, and he said that you guys are older, but exactly the same, and can you confirm that your personalities are the same?
Yeah, for sure.
And so this, as I said, for me, behind me, I would go to the games. I have the San Leandro games. I have the Buchanan game. I have the Long Beach game, on Super VHS. I got to figure out. So I saw you guys, but I didn't talk to you guys. I don't know why. If I had talked to you guys back then, we could have been having the same conversations that we're having now.
Well, hopefully we have a little bit more depth to us in our late 30s.
Yeah, it was a different conversation back then.
Yeah, I was wearing the stunner shades with the fake gold teeth, and the 94 Ford Explorer with the windows down and the stock 6x9. So things have changed a little bit,
but not too much. I mean, you still look good today, Johnny. I appreciate it. And the powerful stuff was, as you told me, you guys wanted to look good, not only play good but look good.
Oh, you asked. I guarantee you asked Nate. You asked Damon. To the last day that they played, they were trying to look good before they went out there and played. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the perfect example is that modern day game. Look at my sophomore year. Look, everybody we had to spat over the Adidas or the Reebok sign, right?
Yeah, spat over Nike.
I was wearing Nikes.
Yeah, we was all wearing Nikes.
Was that the game up in Stockton, or was that the one, the close one in Anaheim?
Anaheim.
I was in Anaheim.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Anaheim. I'm familiar with the first modern day. The one in Stockton, 42-0. Gutierrez might still be throwing touchdowns to Demetrius. And did you get one in that game, Johnny?
We wasn't getting no playing time in that game.
Okay.
I recovered the onside kick, baby. 99?
So that's so steep. You didn't play as a junior?
I played as a junior. I didn't get much playing time that game.
Right. Okay.
Johnny had 9 picks. He should have been. He should have been starting. Keep it 100. And I don't think that any of the coaches would disagree with that at this point. He should have been starting.
It's say, but
okay. I'm trying to think where
I don't even think the guy who was starting in front of him would disagree that he should have been starting. and the guy starting in front of him he was solid. He was definitely a solid high school player. But I don't think that he would disagree that Johnny should have played.
Right.
And I know
was
him.
That?
I'm not gonna say no names,
Okay.
but I know him.
It ain't nothing personal. I mean, it was a thing that I forced the coaching staff into making tough decisions. Some of it was luck. Some of it was just me killing. In my first 2 games of varsity, I had 4 interceptions and took 3 back to the house for touchdowns. And in the third game with Modern Day, and I had 7 plays total to play. But we had too many players, and that's how it is.
So, but that was the 42-0 game.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of talent, like you said, and at De La Salle, it does. They definitely find a way to get the talent on the field. Like, no knock to that, but they also do give seniors a chance first.
Yeah,
because I think, like I said, I ended up starting about 6 games in, and I had 2 seniors in front of me on defense. I ended up playing over mid-season at my position, and DaSean had a senior in front of him also with his junior year. So we all kind of, we all played our time. We killed on kickoff. Shit, I mean, I was on kickoff. We killed on kickoff. We got to play on kickoff. We did our thing. We had raced downfield, caused havoc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like they said, we made a niche for ourselves still. Like we were able to impact the game, and we didn't pout about it. Like Johnny said, you force their hand. You make them notice. You make them see you.
Right, and now you mentioned that on the kickoff, that's where the Amigos was born. How about this? We talked about, who haven't we talked about? Like Cam Colvin, TJ, they're the younger Amigos. Who have we missed? Who are some Amigos that we should mention?
Demetrius,
Elijah Bradley,
TK,
TK for sure, yeah.
Aaron Bradley, Jackie Bates, my boy Jackie Bates.
Tell me, I know the name Jackie Bates. Tell me about Jackie Bates, Nate. Is he Vallejo?
He's Benicia through and through, right next to Vallejo. But I met Jackie when I went to middle school. I ended up going to middle school in Benicia, and Jackie was in 6th grade, my 8th grade year, so I met him there. And then again, he came up to De La Salle, my junior year, freshman year, and Jackie was I knew him as a young cat out there, playing for Benicia, the youth team, and from the middle school. But he was always super athletic, always a popular dude amongst his class. And like I said, by the time he got to high school, he was starting to come into his own and primed and ready to go. He had actually went out to Antioch and played with TJ Ward and those guys, I think his midget year. So he had already knew some of the other guys, and all that kind of stuff. But definitely one of my young rollies coming through when he got there. We were both from the 707.
We might be losing Nate here.
Yeah.
No, and then I'm trying to think. Elijah Bradley, was he was a running back? Hold on, Nate's still going. I think we're being hacked by Modern Day here.
Call a message or something. Maybe.
Nate, well, we lost you. I think we were hacked by Modern Day there for a few. I know we heard what you said. I heard you say 707. That made me feel good.
Oh yeah. I'm saying me and Jackie were definitely connected. Be it that we were from the 707 and went to middle school together and definitely knew of each other. So yeah, I was saying, and we've been cool. Like I said, we've been pretty cool. Since back in the day.
Yeah. How do I fit into the 707?
You from Squarefield, so that's a little off base. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why are you doing it?
Vallejo's a real 707. Benicia's kind of like secondary 707. Squarefield is like Squarefield, and then even some of Vacaville, that's like maybe 707.
I got you. But
then the North Bay is like not 707.
I got you. Am I doing better than Vacaville though? At least.
Yeah, you better than Vacaville. Squarefield better than Vacaville.
Okay, good. That's all I care about. I'm trying to think. Where should we take? So who we talked about? I guess we can plan right. Who should we add next week?
I mean, you could. It's a number of people you could add. Like you said, you could go Demetrius. You could go Jackie. You could go. I mean, shit. I don't know. We could probably get Elijah on here. Excuse my French. Yeah, Elijah's out in Miami. When I went out there a couple of years ago, my 7-on-7 team, he linked up with us at the University of Miami. He has his own practice out there. It says Dr. Bradley, by the way. Let me get that right.
Oh.
Yeah, he has his own dentistry practice. Yeah, I feel like really, honestly, you name an amigo, whether it's TJ or whoever, like any of them would be down to hop on and bring some energy. I mean, we don't have a dull group. Everybody is a character in their own right.
Exactly. The only square guy here is me.
And you starting to flavor up, you know what I'm saying? We drifting you a little bit.
It's because of hanging around you guys. You know, everyone rubs off on me, you know, so.
Yeah, you got to wear your chain next week.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'll do. Nate knows about that, so yeah. DaSean, I got a chain I can wear. I'll wear that next week. And so I'm
What
trying
you got?
to
A
think,
gold chain? What you got?
what's that?
What type of length do you got? It's a gold chain?
It's silver, and it's DLS 151.
Stay true to your roots.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'll rep that next week. And Johnny, you also had, it doesn't necessarily have to be amigo. We could reach out to a teammates. Well, who are some interesting?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, like the amigo thing, like it started as a very impromptu thing, and it just grew without anybody's intention. But really, we were all connected. Like just because we consider ourselves amigos, like nobody was excluded from anything. Good,
right.
Bad, or indifferent. You know what I mean? So that's what Nate's saying. Anybody you can plug and replace instantly. Like you could plug Matt in there and have a good conversation. You could plug in Joe Miklos and we would have a good conversation. Like and that was kind of what we're kind of
would have a great conversation.
Hey, but speaking of those dudes, like Joe Miklos actually hit me up a couple of days ago. And we roomed in college at UNLV, but he hit me up a couple of days ago, you know, and told me, you know, hey, bro, I love you. I hope you're safe and everything like that. My boy Carlos Javier, you know, like dudes that I haven't spoke to in a long time. Like I had about 4 of my De La Salle homies hit me up, you know, out of the blue. Well, not really out of the blue. I mean, with everything going on, and reached out and said what's up, you know. So that just gives you a testament to like how close our group, and when we were at De La Salle, just in general, like you said, down to Carlos Javier, my boy, you know, he's one of my running back mates back in the day, you know. It's just like I said, I think just overall the school, our football team from those years has a lot of love for each other.
And then eventually, well, when do we get Ladd on here?
Whenever you want. Because Ladd will jump in this thing and he'll give you some sauce too. He might forget. Yeah. He might be slower to remember some of it.
It happens.
Hey, Danny.
Go ahead, DaSean.
Oh, just real quick. Danny Ladd actually hit me up today, out the blue. He sent me an article from Coach Ladd. He just reached out to see how I was doing. Sent me a little article that he saw based off of everything going on. They had some article. I don't know what paper it was in, but yeah, he just randomly just reached out. So yeah,
who was it?
He was even younger than us. He was a little guy.
Who?
Danny Ladd.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Coach's son. Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's always been around. I didn't play with him. I think he was Damon. Is he your age or is he a year younger?
He's below me. Yeah, he's younger than me.
He wasn't even there by the time I graduated. But I mean, obviously he's always been around with his dad there. So I mean, it just shows the brotherhood at De La Salle where we know these younger guys. And it's just you just as you're coming up, you're still keeping in contact with people.
Right. And what about this? When you guys created this, I mean, it was in the moment. Did you guys think 20 years we'd be talking about it?
I mean, I expect to be talking to these guys down the road, not necessarily on Zoom talking about the Amigos, but I mean, these are my brothers. I don't get a chance to see them. I haven't seen any of them for maybe a year or so in person, but I mean, we all keep in contact. And I mean, I'll know these guys forever.
No, I knew that, but the fact that younger guys are still talking about the Amigos. So
are they?
Yes. Well, guys from about as I said, Ken Egu, Teron Ward, you know. And also I got a little. This might be good for Nate. You weren't here last week, DaSean. I'm super cheap, and they know this that they want me to pay for this Zoom, and it's free for the next 10 minutes. And so, yeah,
Oh yeah,
DaSean, that's why I always have money. I don't do any upgrades, so exactly.
that's how the rich stay rich.
What's that,
Hey,
DaSean?
so I can't come to your house and listen to your Pandora radio because they're gonna try to sell me oil changes.
No. What I'll do, actually, another thing I do, I think there's like 3 people that have a Netflix code, and I got one, so I can give you a Netflix code. But yeah, no, you can come over, Johnny. But it's just like I said, no frills. Anytime they want upgrades on iPhones or anything, it's always a no-go. And same thing with whatever this is, Zoom. I'm very grateful, but I'm not going to be paying them any money. So I guess you won't be a sponsor. But where we got it says we got 9 minutes. I'm trying to think. The other thing we never really, Johnny. I mean, you're baseball, and you were very good at baseball. I mean, you played at Florida in the minor leagues. Touch on that, and you're still doing baseball. I mean, go ahead.
Well, I mean, just the thing for me is that it was just always ball. As anything that I could possibly play, there definitely was a love for baseball. That was different for any other sport, but at the time, my size wasn't really getting heavily recruited in football, and the position of slot wasn't the same then as it is now. But baseball is my love, always been my passion, and some way I was gonna find my way back to that. So still doing it. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm a mentor to kids. Last year, my cousin is the head coach at St. Mary's High School. He asked me to come out and coach the receivers and return men for a day, and I went out there and did it. So, for me, athletics is athletics, and education is education. So, obviously I had to do some brush up on, some run blocking, but, it's like riding a bike.
No, but it's just your personality. And even before the Zoom, I went and looked at your minor league stats. You played everywhere. I mean, that's why you were in the infield, you were in the outfield. What was your true position? You would just play wherever they put you, or?
I came up as a shortstop, man. That was always my thing, shortstop. And then I kind of got moved around. I was a little dude, had me at second. I'm playing third. A couple guys got hurt, asked who can play center field. I went out, played center, left, right. Like, if they give me an opportunity to get in the lineup and I'm getting an opportunity to make some money, I'm out of there.
Right. No, that's it. So wherever the it's like getting on the field at De La Salle. You force the issue.
Yeah, I mean that was probably one of the hardest issues to force, to be real. There's a lot of barriers, man. Just and people don't really understand it, like the transition for all of us as young men and being African American men and being thrown into that world with a highly privileged student body and the pressure of what people have already done before you, the legacy you're trying to create, the identity that you're trying to make. There's a lot of layers to go into that school and being successful. It's not just, put on the jersey, lift some weights, do some summer workouts, and you're going to be a champion. Like if you look at any of our films, you would have thought that we were 2-10 teams when, we were undefeated for years, but it was stressful and it was intense from beginning to end.
That would be something. Going to school in the South, and what was that like in Gainesville? How different was that from out here?
Extremely different.
Yeah.
Confederate flags, stuff saying the South will rise again, different language, just way behind in the times, it's just crazy stuff. Yeah. All day. Just
right. Okay.
Open racism.
Right. And this was what, early 2000s?
2001 to 2004, and I'm a professional coach right now, and we're stationed in Bradenton, Florida, and it's still out there right now.
Okay, that's it, because you're with the Pirates, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Pirate City, and it's once again it's changed, but it's still there.
There you go, and maybe that's where we go next time. How we have a bigger discussion. We have 5 minutes left. DaSean, what led you to the police?
Benefits.
What was that?
I'm kidding.
He said benefits.
I mean, benefits are great. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple things I wanted to do after college. I mean, I graduated with a sociology degree from St. Mary's. Initially, I wanted to join the FBI. I mean, I didn't have any secondary skill that I guess I didn't catch their attention. I thought about teaching, coaching, stuff like that. And then I actually met somebody from Oakland Police Department who like spoke highly of the department, so I should get into it, and then I just listened, and then I was like, all right, I think I could do that, and then just applied, and then here I am 14 years later. Long story short.
All right. I'm trying to think. We got 4 minutes. Who wants to wrap us up here?
Damon.
Hey, real quick. So the night Johnny went to Florida for his recruiting trip, correct me if I'm wrong, but we played Liberty that game, right? And he scored like 2 touchdowns, and they got on the plane to Florida, right? Before the even fourth quarter ended, didn't he?
Halftime, baby.
Halftime, yeah, there you go.
A pick at a touchdown. I got on the plane.
And you,
But,
you folded up the dude on Demetrius catch and run.
And DaSean cheering on the sideline because he had a bruised knee. I remember DaSean was amped on the sideline.
Ain't it crazy? 20 years later, you still remember plays like that? The specifics of the play.
It was super specific, yeah.
I remember it. I remember it because I tell that story a lot. Just to piggyback on to what Johnny was saying earlier, like to be able to be a part of like just De La Salle in general, like, okay, you're a part of the team, but the tradition that goes into it, the talent that comes before you, and the things that you pick up, like Nate, DaSean, Johnny, DJ, who else? Demetrius, Kevin Simon, like all those guys, like they meant something to the program. I'm sure I'm missing out on other few people, but people who came before me, like we had an expectation, like they had expectations for us younger kids. Like I still remember my senior year, Kevin Simon coming back and ripping me and Maurice because we weren't captains our senior year, but we were the only ones up there on varsity as sophomores. So just those little nuggets that you learn from them and you see from them when they were playing. Like I said, Johnny balled out, then hopped on a plane at halftime. Who does that? You know what I mean? And when I mean he balled out, he was, he balled out. He had it was ridiculous that the plays that Johnny would make, and you would think that he didn't play Division I football when he was more than capable of playing Division I football. But just to piggyback on that, man, it just was a privilege and an honor to be even a part of the Amigos group because of what it stands for and what it means. So,
and what it still means to this day. Let me wrap up here because we're literally the Zoom's going to kick us out in 2 minutes. So I'll hit stop and I'll talk to you guys quickly afterwards. I appreciate your time today.
Always pleasure.
No, as I said, I just look forward to